So I was waiting for the cable guy to show up and decided to kill some time and take my quadcopter up for a little video flight. Unfortunately, I didn't really notice that it was a slight breeze, but once I got up, you know, 100 feet or so, it was actually quite strong. And I didn't really notice right away that the copter was getting further and further away pretty quickly. You know, right now I'm just sort of happily turning it around, getting different views of the neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods, my neighbors' unfinished pool there. Anyway, I was stoked. I was like, hey, you know, I'm getting up pretty high, and you know, I'm turning it around and getting different angles, and you know, this might turn out pretty good. I know the camera's not that great. It's just the cheap WLToys camera, but you know, for the meantime anyway, it's working fine, and makes some videos that are kind of fun to watch. So at this point, I'm out kind of further out away from my yard than I've ever been with it, and it's starting to get kind of small in the sky to me. So I decide, you know, I'm gonna tilt it back towards home and you know, start getting it back. Now I'm losing radio reception, so I'm starting to panic a little bit. That's why that's why it's flipping around and doing weird stuff. Radio reception's only, I think, like 300 feet, and it's more like 500 feet away right now. So I start to kill the motors just to lower the altitude, get it down closer so I can control it, which I was able to do. It did get lower, but it wasn't getting closer to me. You know, distance-wise, like on the ground. You know, it continued to drift further and further away. And it didn't really matter how much I tilted it back towards home. The wind was stronger than the motors, and it continued to sail away. And I'm kind of panicking at this point. I'm running in my yard trying to get to the edge, to high ground, so I can see where it's going. It's a nice view, nice, kind of clear until you see the clouds on the horizon and everything. So I thought I was going to get some beautiful video, but at this point I'm not thinking about the video at all. I'm just thinking, where the heck is this thing going to go down, you know, and how am I going to get it back? Because, you know, I didn't know if it was going to land in somebody's pool or on top of somebody's roof or what. So I'm bringing it down, and I kept having bouts of confidence, thinking, oh, I can get it back. You know, if I just get it down out of the wind, I'll be able to, you know, turn it around and get it back to home. Only, you know, I kept losing perspective, you know, trying to figure out which way it was aimed, and it seemed like any adjustment I made just sent it further away. And that hadn't really happened to me before, so I was getting kind of bummed. And I couldn't really, like, go and get in the car and drive after it because I knew the battery wasn't going to last that long. And so I'm not really sure what to do at this point. I thought I landed it around this point. I did bring it down, but apparently it didn't land. And then I brought it back up, and I'm like, okay, that's good. So I can land it and bring it back up. And then, of course, I got another bout of confidence, thinking I could bring it back home, and I couldn't. So then the battery died. That happens in a little bit here. But you know, at this point, it's blocks away from the house. I mean, I know the neighborhood, but I also know that there's a lot of big yards and trees and pools and just places where it could disappear. You know, I have the phone number printed on a sticker on it, but you know, I wasn't sure when or if anybody would ever find it. Anyway, at this point, I'm sweating, and you know, it's not tilted nearly as much as I thought it was trying to get back. But you can see the wind just keeps pushing it out, so, and I'm not that great of a pilot, so the combination of the two meant I was not going to get it back to my yard anyway. It was going to go down at some point. Now, the upside, of course, is that if I did find it, I was going to have some cool video if I could recover it all. And obviously, I was able to, but this is sort of the story of how it got there. So, I'm paying attention because I'm, to which houses it's over and trying to figure out which street that is and trying to sort of memorize exactly where it's at because I know it's going to go down soon. And I want to hopefully find it or be able to, talk to the neighbors right in the proximity of where it goes down. Anyway, here I'm losing reception again. Recovered. It's way too far away and it just goes down. So I thought the battery died. It probably did actually. I think it didn't completely die, but it lost enough power that it couldn't sustain altitude and fell down. And anyway, neighbor called me and got it back. All's well that ends well.
That's a good YouTube video. You're terrible.